Welcome to Coding Shiksha. So today in this tutorial I will be telling you that how to implement Google authentication in Angular. So this is a demo application. You can see that if I refresh it, so there will be two buttons: sign in with Google, and you can also sign out of your Google account. So if I just click this first button, a pop-up window will generate. So if I click this button here, you can see that a window has generated. This is containing all my accounts here. So if I select this account, and then this will prompt me to enter the password. So I can just select my account password and click next. So then it will be displaying the profile picture and the email address of the account. So you can see that. Also in the console we are getting a message here. If I drag down, you can see that social user ID, name, email is photo URL is also fetched. If I close it, and you can see that the photo, the username of the account, and the email address, so all these details are printed out. And there is also an option to sign out. So if I click this, you are successfully signed out and the details are gone. But in order to explicitly sign out, you just have to go to Gmail and then you need to click on the sign out button. You can see that. So this is a short little application that we will be building. So for building Angular applications, I am using a online tool called as codesandbox.io. It is kind of a integrated development environment which is present online to make Angular applications. So if you go to Google and type here code sandbox, the first result which comes in, you just need to click it. And there is also an option available to create a sandbox once you create an account on that. So you should have a GitHub account in order to log in their website. After logging it, just create a sandbox and just choose your language. So in this we will choose Angular. So on this website you can also create Vue applications, React applications. And for building this application we need a dependency. So adding dependency from code sandbox is very easy. There is a button available by which you can see that add dependency. So we will be searching for Angular 4 social login. Let me just search for the dependency, which is Angular 4 social login. Angular 4 Angular 4, there is no dash, Angular 4 dash social login. You can see that this is a dependency. So you just have to click it and instantly it will download for you and install. In the background you will see that forked sandbox. You can see that. So it is compiling and transpiling the modules which was present inside it. We need to do it again. So just go to the project and once again download this. So once you load it, so you will be have to add dependency. So just drag down. So just drag down and add dependency. So here we will write Angular 4 social login. So this is a dependency. So just click it once and it will be. So you can see that it has successfully forked the sandbox and it is in the background, it is compiling. So now after that we just need to go into the app folder and go to the app.component.html file. So let me just have some space. So just delete all this, and now we will be having a simple two buttons which will allow us to sign in and sign out. So the first thing that we will be having is a paragraph. So inside this paragraph we will be populating the title. In the two curly brackets you will write title. So this title will come from the app.component file. So you can see that it is populated this title code sandbox. So we can just change that title later on. After that we will be having a button which will be having a click listener. So click is equal to, we will execute this method, that is sign in, and we will pass an argument to it which is Google. In this case we are implementing Google sign in, and the label of the button will be sign in with Google. So after this we will be having two break tags, and then we will be having another button. So this time this button will be used to sign out the user. So this will be sign out. So the label of the button will be sign out. Again we will be having two break tags, and then we will be displaying the user detail in this div. So I will be having a ng if directive. So just write star ng if. So this is capital ng if is equal to user. So if condition is good, then we need to display the image first of all by this syntax. In the double curly brackets we will write user dot photo URL, and after displaying the image we will be having the email address. First of all the username, so user dot name, and then we will be displaying the email address, so user dot email. So the app.component is complete, you can see that. So now we will be moving on to the app.module.ts file. So we also want to delete all this here and start from scratch. So the first thing that we need to import is the browser module from Angular @Angular platform. Platform browser. This is the dependency. So after this we need to import ng module for the if condition that we have made in the HTML file. So this also comes from @Angular core. So after this we will import some things here. Import. So the first thing will be social login module, comma auth service config, comma Google login provider, and this dependency comes from this. So right here in the same line let me write from. So this is the dependency that we have downloaded, Angular 4 social login, that's it. And last but not least we will also have in this dependency which is app component from app component, that's it. So all the dependency are there now. So now we just need to have a client ID for the Google login. So for the client ID, you just need to go to Google Developer Console and then you need to create a project. So let me just guide you how to do that. So go to credentials and then go to OAuth client ID. Just select this option, OAuth client ID. Let me just go to it by Google. So just write Google Developer Console. The first result which comes in, just click it. I have already created some projects here, so after creating it, go to credentials and then click on create credentials and then OAuth client ID. So this will be a web application, so select this, and for the authorized JavaScript origins you need to select the full address here, copy it. So your address will be different, so just paste it here and just remove this slash here and enter. And this is the authorized redirect URI, so just paste it, the same thing. And after this, create. So this will give you the client ID and client secret, so we only need the client ID, so just copy it. So after this we need to use this client ID, but before that we need to create a variable const Google OAuth client ID. This will be a string, so just is equal to, and then you need to paste it. So then after that we need to just configure it in an object. So this will be, let me name it as config, and this will be a new auth service config. So this takes a array and this contains an object here, so double curly brackets, right? So first property it takes is ID, so this will be a constant which is Google login provider dot provider ID, and the second property it takes is the provider property, and this is a new instance of Google login provider, and in the parentheses we just need to pass our Google auth client ID. That's it. So after configuring this we need to write some more code. So we need to initialize the ng module by this, so this takes double curly brackets. In this we need to write declarations, so this takes a array, so in this we just need to initialize app component, and also we need to put a comma here. The second property it takes is imports, so in the import property we just need to include some more dependency which we have there in the main.ts file, so browser, all this stuff. So just write here in the imports browser module comma, the second is the social login module dot initialize, and we need to pass the config object that we have created early on. You can see that. So this array is complete, so put a comma, and third property it takes is providers, so this will be an empty array, and the fourth property it takes is bootstrap, this will also be an array which is app component. That's it. So now lastly we just need to export the class, export class app module, that's it. So now we need to go to this file, that is app component.main.ts. It is there in the app folder. So app component.ts file. So just go to this file and we need to write some code here. So the first thing will be the same. We need to import the component, and the second thing we need to write here, import auth service, comma, Google login provider. We need to import it from Angular for social login. That's it. So in the component we need to, these things remain same, that is selector, template URL and style URLs all. And now we just need to write some code in the app components, and we can just change the title to, let's suppose, sign in with Google, something like this. If I make change, you can see that it is reflected here. So after the title we can define the user to this any semicolon. So after defining the user we need to have a constructor. So this will be private social auth serve. After that just write auth service. This will be contain the empty set of curly brackets. So after defining the constructor we will be defining the method to actually sign in with Google. So in this we will be defining the method that we have defined in the app.component.html. So whenever we click the button we are executing this function, that is sign in. So sign in, so this takes a platform string argument that we are passing in the form of Google. So this will be a string, and then we need to write colon void, and to define the function we will be having a set of curly brackets. So first we will be having the platform. So this will be Google login provider dot provider ID. So semicolon. After this we will write here this dot social auth serve dot sign in. So inside parentheses we will pass the platform, and this returns a promise. We need to handle this promise by having a then block dot then. So inside this it returns a response to us. So after this we will be having an arrow function. So inside this we will console log the actual platform. So in this case the platform is Google, and then we will concatenate the, that is log 10 user data is equal to, and then we just concatenate the response which is coming back from the library. And then after this we will just write this dot user is equal to response. So our function is complete here. So we just need to write here semicolon or parentheses semicolon. So in this, let me see what is sign in platform dot then response. sorry, we need to have just delete it from here and put a parentheses and a semicolon. That's it. So now the sign in method is complete. So now we just be having our sign out method. So just after you define the sign in, just define the sign out method also to let the user sign out of their account. So this will be a simple function, sign out. So in the app.component.html we have binded this method, so whenever the user click this button, this function will execute. So colon, this will be a void function, so it will not return anything. So in the parentheses we will call this dot socio auth server. So this contains a method which is sign out, so just call this and semicolon, and after executing it we can just console log that is user signed out. So the application is complete. So now if I refresh it, or I can just do copy the URL and open it in the browser. So now you can see that this is the application. If I click sign on with Google, so you will see that both the things, three things are displaying: profile picture, username and email address. I can even sign out, and if I inspect element, you will see in the console also the data has been received here. You can see that Google logged in user data is inside this JSON response. The email address, ID, name, photo, URL is all being received. So thanks very much guys for watching this video. Please like this video and also don't forget to subscribe the channel, and I will be seeing you in the next video. Until then, thank you very much.